Okay, Kristen, I'm sorry. Jay's talking in the background, but I'm going to do the best I can. The first thing I start with is my long piece of wide ribbon. This was actually another bow that I took apart, so it's pretty long, but I'm going to cut it down and show you. Then the next thing you want is your skinnier ribbon to tie a knot in the middle of a piece. This is actually pretty long. It's probably 12 inches. You don't need it that long. This is the one that I had on the bow. It's the same fabric, but the tighter you can tie the knot, the better. That's why I like the silk organza or embroidery thread, something along those lines. So basically that's all you need, and then your clip. I don't have one with me, so I'm going to use a ponytail holder for tonight, and then scissors and hot glue. So I start out, I'm right-handed, so I hold my first tail in my left hand, and I make a loop at the top, and I have it be about, if I looked all the way across, how big do I want the bow to be. So I put my fingers pinching the center of it, and then create the loop on the bottom side where the tail is, and I apologize, I'm trying to do this where you see it. Then do another loop at the top, do another loop at the bottom. So I basically have 2 loops on each side, and then a tail at the top and a tail at the bottom. When I grab them, so there's your 2 loops at the top, 2 loops at the bottom. It's not nice and neat, it's messy. Pinch the center of it. So then just looking at it, I can see, okay, are my fingers in the center? Where do I need them to be?
I just cleaned
So when I look at it, I've got a tail, a loop, a loop, a tail, a loop, a loop. And that's all it is. So now I'm going to cut that really long piece of excess at about the same length as the other. These scissors are terrible. Let me try another pair. I'm not worried about if my ends look nice, because I'll show you that in a second. So I've pinched it, so I basically have the formation of my bow. I guess that's a little better. Loop, loop, tail, loop, loop, tail. You can do 3 loops on each end, but I find that it's harder to make it look nice. So then I take my knotted piece, press it down on the table, or even just hold it in my hands, put the knot on the top, turn it over, and then I can put it down on the table. Tie a knot as tight as I can. So now my bow is put together. I've got my tail hanging off, I've got the 2 loops, and it's secure. Now from the back side, I have this messy piece. I can either run my ponytail holder through it, or you're going to stick your alligator clip through there. So the bottom side of the alligator clip is up against the bow, and then the top of the clip is going to be on top of the ribbon like my finger is. It's okay that there's ribbon going through there. You can even double knot this and then send your alligator clip through. Once I've done that, I cut off all the excess ribbon. Again, it's okay if there's a piece showing. I'm going to show you what to do in just a second. So now basically I've got my bow with the center piece, so it doesn't have to be the same, or you can use the exact same fabric, it doesn't matter. Now my ends look ugly, so I'm going to pinch them in half, and then starting from the fold, cutting out, I'm going to create that V point. I'm going to do that at the other end and try to get them as close to the same length as possible, and usually it's just to the end of one of the loops. Then the next thing that I do, and I should have brought this over with me, is I use a lighter. I actually use one of those candle lighters, and I just singe the edges of it. I just lightly go around it. If it catches it on fire, I just burn it. I blow it out, and then I cut it off, and I do another one if I need to. And you're going to do the same thing on the back. On those little pieces that are hanging off, you just burn them, and that keeps it from fraying. And you're not even going to see them anymore. So the back is ugly, your alligator clip is going to be back there, but the front is pretty. If you have any rhinestones, wish you were here because I have just a few, then I can just glue that on to cover up whatever ribbon I use to secure it. And that's why a lot of times I don't care what goes in the middle, because I cover up the knot. But if you don't have any rhinestones, the knot is just fine. The other thing you can do, if you don't like the way the bow is looking, which for little girls it's no big deal, you can kind of puff up the loops, and you can glue them to each other or onto the tails the way you want them to stay, and they'll be big and poofy like you see on the ones in the stores. But I glued the, you know, two of the pieces of the loop together. But since this is just for a school project for Aiden, you don't have to get that involved. But there's your bow. 5 minutes or less. Call me if you need any help. I love you.